That's right. God's nature is unchanging. The constants are perfect because God's nature is perfect.
So it's God's nature that implies exactly the universe we have. No other universe was ever possible.
Yes, a universe for humanity.
So if there were no humanity, there would be no God?
What?
Well, you said God's perfect nature implies perfect constants that in turn imply stars and matter and man. So if there were no man, that would mean that there were no perfect constants, and that would mean that there was no perfect God. So logically speaking, you could have man without God, but you couldn't have God without man.
Wrong. God must exist. God is a necessary being, a brute fact. We said that.
So then man's existence is also necessary, right? If God necessarily exists, his perfect nature causes the perfect constants to exist, which cause man to exist. There are no choices.
Wrong again. Of course, God can choose. He has volition, just as we do.
But I thought everything is determined by his unchanging nature.
Yes, except the things that are not determined that way. And those things he can choose with absolute freedom.
So God has no freedom and absolute freedom?
That's right. And God chose constants and laws that lead to stars and galaxies and matter and life and galaxies.
Okay. So he picked the constants completely freely, and anything he picked would lead to stars and humanity if he wanted it to, right?
Of course, he can do anything. Omnipotent.
And of all the infinity of parameters he could have chosen and still made mankind, he chose these ones. Why?
To fine-tune the universe for life.
But you said God doesn't need to fine tune. He can make life from many parameters.